Hey guys, CYMA here. So I'm super excited to do the video on this gun. This is my personal Polar Star F2. I have not done very many AKs on this channel at all. No really upgrades, except for one, which was a Polar Star Jack for QS Airsoft. Other than that, I did a review on one of my friend's G&Gs and maybe a CYMA AK here and there, but they were pretty much out of the box stock. I haven't done any high-speed AKs or anything. They're not as popular generally, but M4 systems are just kind of the way to go. But this AK is freaking awesome. So I bought this from QS Airsoft. He gave me a patch. So I bought this from him about 2 months ago. Let's start from the back. So we got a crane stock here. I actually wired it to the rear. So I had it wired to the top here at first, and it is a huge pain to fit an FCU and a battery in here. Those people that own HPA AKs or even AEG AKs will understand what I'm saying. There's just no room up here. Some people do wire them up here and manage to fit stuff up here, but it's a lot easier to be in the stock. The mini FCU for the Polar Stars would have been much better to sit inside of here, but I had the full-size one. So let me go ahead and pull the battery out in the FCU so you can see it all. The battery is just a 7.4 JST. The FCU, again, is the full-size one, LED screen. No problems with it. Everything was in good shape. I bought the engine used. I got everything said and done for about $350. That includes the right nozzle, the right trigger board. There's actually an ambidextrous charging handle here, which is extremely cool. That's one of the pros to why I like this body. It looks more tactical, like a Magpul, like a Beta Project AK. It's got a plastic pistol grip on here, and as you notice, it's got the hose coming out of the back of the body. Also a metal buffer tube on here, and I think the stock's 6 positions, the buffer tube is. But I have a standard hose coming out of here. I cut a hole in the back of the receiver. The receiver is plastic. That's why this gun's so light. But the hose comes out the back with a Polar Star fitting, and it works and hooks up fantastic. Also have my patch on there. Selector switch, safe, semi, and then full auto. Where on the real one it is safe, full auto, semi. This one is like an M4. I think you can switch it in the FCU. You can switch it so it's backwards, but I don't worry. I don't care. The top of the cover is metal. The charging handle assembly is also metal, and I'll pull that off so you can see that again in here. It's actually really cool how it detaches. You can pull it out just like that. That simple. Some of the AKs have attachment points where it's like bolted in the receiver. I don't work on very many AKs, but a lot of these are kind of a pain in the butt. It seems like M4s, like the V2 gearbox system, has adapted a lot further than the AKs, because in the M4s they're doing MOSFETs, quick change spring guides, and all these stock guns. They're changing and doing all sorts of stuff. AKs have kind of stayed the same, which is kind of why they suck. But don't get me wrong, there's slight improvements. This one is part of that, just with the easiness of taking the charging handle assembly out and how it drops right in. I know with some charging handles, when you take them out, they don't quite work as well. Like the old CYMAs were like that, and the old JGs. But the AKs are slowly adapting to a better system, and it's the same thing with the hop-up. The way it bolts into the receiver there, that is just a genius idea. So there, the charging handle actually goes back pretty far. If you take the safety off, it'll go back. So that's pretty cool. Some of the AKs go like that, which is cringy. The back sight here is just your standard AK sight. This part is metal, so there's not much metal on this gun, but all the parts that need to be metal are. And this is a Lancer Tactical base, but the OEM internals are CYMA. This is all metal here. This sight block, which is connected to the outer barrel, and connected to the bolts and pieces that attach the rail system. So all that is metal. The front sight assembly is metal. All those parts that need to be. The rail system itself is plastic. The rails, there's a slight wobble to it, nothing much. It's not really that big of a deal. I didn't notice it when I was playing with it. I only notice it when I sit here and intentionally do it. The front rail up here is kind of, I hate those for an optic to mount up here. I think it's incredibly stupid because it's way too far up. So this is honestly pointless to me. But there's also no rail mount here, so you can get a claw mount, but this receiver doesn't have it. I imagine because it's plastic, they didn't want it to snap off. So continuing, the mag catch is here. The front sight's metal, I already said that, and this Tango Down replica grip, it's not a real one, but it has a QD, so it's pretty cool. I have one of these on my my SR25 as well, the fake ones. And then I have a real one on one of my HPA M4s. And I love this system. These grips are freaking awesome. The flash hider I have on here is a Magpul Battle Comp replica. It looks fantastic. It's gray. The rest of the gun is black, but I don't even care. It just looks cool. It kind of pops a little bit because it's like, that's a different color. Talk about the hop-up stuff. I'm using the stock bucking because that's what worked the best. I could not really get much else to work, so it's the stock. It's Mad Bull. It's a blue bucking, but they come in a lot of JGs and CYMAs. Stock hop-up unit, which is plastic, which is kind of hard to adjust, like a lot of AKs with this bar in the way. It's kind of hard to adjust. And then it has what I think is a low neck center barrel that I had laying around. It goes to like right here. You can see it through the flash hider, and I Sugru hopped it. When I actually went and played with this gun, and I kind of regret it because it didn't shoot perfect. It shot good, but not perfect. It was maxing out at like 22 rounds a second, where it was shooting perfect because I had to have the DR so high. I did some research and kind of just looked around on the gun and found that there's an air leak in the hop-up because the nozzle was too far back. And the reason why is because the engine is loose in the receiver. So when I shut the gearbox shell, put all the screws in, I can move the nozzle and the whole unit back. So I ended up shimming it so it stays forward, so that nozzle is a hair further into my hop-up, which ups the FPS, ups the consistency, and it allows me to lower the settings so I can raise the rate of fire. Right now the gun is set for 25 rounds a second because this is a higher FPS gun, but it does max out at like 32. So I can go up to 30 if I want, and I might, I guess if people are cheating. But 25 is probably where I'm going to keep it because I can just hold the trigger down on somebody if they're going to keep cheating. And trust me, at the FPS and with heavy BBs, people are going to call their hits on full auto with this no problem. So I don't see the need to go up to 30. I have a bunch of other guns that shoot 30 or 40 or 50. My DSG, like I have a bunch of high rate of fire guns. This is more of a just lower rate of fire gun. I can't really explain it other than that. Inside of the gearbox, it's got a Retro Arms straight trigger. It might be SHS, but I think it's Retro Arms. Retro Arms straight trigger. The stock Polar Star F2 with no changes. The nozzle that comes in this is red. It's painted red, but it's the equivalent of the Polar Star Fusion Engine red nozzle. So it's basically a red nozzle is what people refer to, because normally red's one of the highest bores, at least with the Fusion engines and the V12s, and also with these. It's nice that they include that out of the box. Also, it comes with a low flow poppet. So I said this on one of my other F2 videos. It comes with a low flow poppet, just like the Polar Star Fusion Engine red one. It's painted red too, which is cool that they matched that up instead of doing like purple, but it's equivalent to the Fusion Engine red. Rather just match the colors. So it's very efficient. I had the settings down a little bit. I'm just going to use high caps. I could probably lower the nozzle timing a little bit and get a little bit higher rate of fire if I wanted to. So I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say about it. Oh, as far as the PSI, I have to have this at 120 PSI for 400 feet per second. That's high because I put together two other F2s. One of them was shooting 350 at 60 PSI with this Redline SFR, which is one of my friends. It's in an LVOA. I installed it in there for him, and that gun is incredible. But then I put together one that shot 365 FPS at like 80 PSI. So if I was at 60, the equivalent of the other one, it shoots like 50 to 70 FPS lower. And they're both M4s with both around the same barrel lengths. So it's kind of weird, but engines vary. This one is varied a lot. It's about the same length barrel as those two, but for some reason it just has to be at 120 PSI to shoot 400. But it's loud, it sounds good, it's got good range. I'm happy with it. The air efficiency is still good at 120 PSI. I have 2,000, a little under 2,000 PSI left in this tank, about 19. It's a 48 cubic inch tank. Okay, so I got the stock magazine loaded up with .3s. I have some other mags that are a little bit better. This stock one's not the best, but I got the chrono set for 3s, so let's see what kind of joules it's getting. 348, 340, 343, 344, 343, 344, 345, 348, 347, 347, 345. So pretty dang consistent. There was one that went up. It was like 340, and then it went to 384 back up. So one was 340, which was quite low. That was the lowest one. As far as joules, 345 is 1.67 joules with 0.3s, which is pretty dang close to 400 with 0.2s. It's like 1.7, so it's very close. So let's go ahead and flip it to full auto. Get a rate of fire reading. 24.7. First trigger response, it's no slouch. I did shorten the trigger pull. It's not crazy short. So you can find the spot. It's got a little bit play, and then you can work the trigger because it's a fusion engine, or an F2. It's got a micro switch. See, it seems to feed a lot better. I am a little underhopped, so let me go ahead and turn it up. It's kind of hard to fit your finger in here to adjust the hop up, but it only turned it a hair, just a hair. And there we go. I'm cool with that right now. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. Got some more hop to it. I haven't shot this gun on full auto yet, so let's try it on full auto. Some people are like, ooh, I don't see why people need high rate of fire because you just hurt people. You hit people a lot. Bro, the difference between 40 rounds a second and 25 is not that much. It might sound faster. Hold the trigger down for the same time. It's probably like 1/1000, 2/1000 of a difference between your mag being empty on 40 RPS or 25. It's not that much. So what I'm trying to say here is you can still light people up with full auto in general. You can sit there and hold the trigger for 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000, 4/1000, and just obliterate somebody with a whole mag, even at 25 rounds a second. As you can tell, the gun's pretty loud. There's quite a bit of air moving through the system. Let's check the PSI. So I'm actually a little low, as you can see here. I'm between 110 and 120, so I'm a little low, so that's why I was, shooting 340 instead of 350 with the .3. So that explains that. But we are at about 900 PSI left, and we started at 2,000 PSI for 1,000 shots. I filled up both of these magazines, about 1,100, because these mags are advertised for like 600. So let's just kind of average right in the middle, 550. That's 1,100 PSI, or BB, sorry, for about 1,000 PSI. So we're getting a little bit more shots, about the same shots per tank, which is fine, which is I'm happy with. So 1,000 shots from my gun. The goal is to be 1,000 PSI down from 1,000 shots. Hope that makes sense. That is a nice efficient system. If the equal amount of BBs that you're shooting is equal to the PSI, generally you're getting good efficiency. So with my CQB M4 V12 that I have, that I put some efficiency upgrades inside of, it is shooting shot for shot with the 62 cubic inch tank. This is shooting shot for shot, or shot for PSI, with a 48. So the Polar F2 stock is more efficient than the V12 upgraded, max upgraded. So there you go. but I am definitely going to be out there the next time they play, which is the 24th, March the 24th. I will be out there to play again. Anyways, I'll see you on the next video.